Okay, so we're gonna finish this one. This is the exact spot that we're at, where mom loves to date killers in prison. Let's watch it.
Not upset.
We have got to the
Oh,
point where literally anybody.
Then it does a commercial. I'm sorry.
Drama. Okay, they're egging her on, the netizens. They're like, are you not upset? You don't want your face tattooed on Jesse? And she gets very defensive. I'm good. I don't need a tattoo to symbolize what I am to my husband. As long as I know where I stand with my husband, we're fine. But she gets his TikTok handle tattooed on her. Not even his name.
TikTok.
The TikTok handle. Like at Rotten
That's
Mango.
weird.
Imagine you
Then maybe it'll
tattooing
work
that.
better, you know, instead of having the name.
Wait, she
that curses
tattooed
the
it on her
relationship.
body?
Yes, his TikTok handle. The relationship lasts somewhere in the ballpark of 8 business days before Ashley is on live stream ranting, clapping her hands as if we are the ones to blame for this. She says, and
It's your
that's what
fault.
irritates me. Y'all think you know him? Y'all don't, bro. I was with him for 9 months, holding him down, and he's talked so much crap about
Baby.
me. The
9
tears that
whole
I have to
months.
hold back when I see him. Look, he's requesting again to be in my live stream. He's requesting again. Jesse is not a nice person. Jesse is a really mean, ugly person. Y'all don't know what I've had to endure the last 2 weeks, okay? I'm not wanting to bash him. He's not a nice person. Jesse let all these females make him feel like he was just the luckiest man out there. He was just using me for clout because without Ashley, Jesse is not nothing. Without Ashley, there is no Jesse. I made Jesse. She's 36. Later in a video, she responds, why did you guys break up? So she's like reading the comments. Why did you guys break up? Because of social media. A lot of females were in his
Social media's
inbox.
fault.
I just didn't have the trust. I would tell him I wish he was back in prison because I trusted him in prison because nobody knew who he was. Nobody was
Wow.
writing to him. He wasn't calling
Love.
them. You know, when he came out, I let him have social media. I gave him a little cheap phone. I told him, make a TikTok.
him.
I said, make a TikTok, babe. And that was my
Just like a
biggest
baby.
mistake, was to let him get involved in the social media life.
How many followers does she have?
It's hard to say because she keeps getting her accounts deleted.
Really?
Yeah, I think she's like on her 6th account.
Wow.
Because of like.
Yeah. I mean, because she'll
people
just
report her and.
Yeah, and then she'll just completely flash her entire bare chest on a live stream on
Ew.
TikTok.
Wow.
There are also some very strange moments in this whole relationship saga with Jesse. Ashley goes on live where her daughters are her moderators. I don't know if they were her moderators for every single live, but the fact that they are her moderators and they have frequently said like, mom, don't do this. Mom, don't say this. They'll come into the room sometimes while she's live streaming to say, stop doing this. So it's pretty clear that they know what she's doing on live. They're watching. She states, to be honest, you guys, it's just going to give Jesse more clout. Just kidding. He has an 8-inch.
I mean, the first day we did it like, what, 5 or 6 times? If I can remember, maybe a little bit more. The first day.
The daughters.
The first weekend was pretty wild. I literally could feel him like up here. And I would tell him like, it hurts. Like,
she goes into graphic
Wow.
detail describing the width, I guess. In a separate live, she's asked, was there passion? To be honest,
No passion.
Yeah. It's crazy though, because for like 2 weeks, it was still good after the second week. The first day, we did it like 5 or 6 times. I can't even remember. Maybe a little more. The first day, the first weekend was pretty wild. I would tell him like, it hurts everywhere, everything. And then she would just nod, licking her lips. And every single time, we didn't use protection. And he never pulled out. Meanwhile,
Wow.
Jesse is on a separate live stream where he claims that he had to put a blanket to cover Ashley Trevino's entire body and face because he could not get excited for activities without that.
Ew.
You're kidding me.
Yeah, no, I'm not.
That's weird.
That's crazy.
Did you
Sad
like put
too.
like a bag over her head when you guys,
Okay, so I put the blanket all over her. I just wanted to see that. If I seen anything else, it wasn't gonna work out. You know what I'm saying?
The top comments are,
Oh
mind
my
you,
goodness.
this is my phone. Mind you, I just woke up. Soon after their breakup, Ashley starts hinting at the fact that she might be pregnant. And hinting is a severe understatement. She might as well have tattooed it on her, potentially pregnant. She tells her viewers,
I was ovulating the day after the day he came home. We can all be your baby daddy. You want to be my baby daddy? No, I already told Jesse that if I'm pregnant, I told him on the way to Irving. I said, on the way to Irving, I told him, I said, look, if I'm pregnant, because I told him, I said, I start my period in 3 days. And he's like, what are you telling me? I said, I'm just saying, I start my period in 3 days. And he's like, what are you telling me, Ashley? And I was like, no, I'm just saying, like, just in case, you know, something happens and I'm pregnant, I don't need you to be there for me. I said, I can
It's a
raise this
weird
baby
thing
on my
to
own.
say.
I've raised 2 of them on my own. I don't need you to be here to raise my baby.
She's
People
not
were
really
so
raising
confused
him.
by this. People start putting the dates together, and Ashley's digital footprint has likely accelerated climate change by at least 24 months. She is live streaming every single waking moment of her day, which is not a great thing to do if you don't want to get caught in your own lies. People are
Right.
running through the timelines to point out, wait, if she was pregnant, then she had her period on this date, then she would have known that she was pregnant if she missed her period. But those days that she would have known that she was pregnant or potentially pregnant, she was just drinking and live streaming all the time. When she's confronted with this, netizens are very upset because that's a very serious thing to do, is
Yeah.
drink while potentially pregnant. And she
Especially
says
early in
she's
the
drinking
pregnancy.
because she's not 1,000% confident that she's pregnant when you can just take a pregnancy test. She says that
Right.
she merely has
Instead
a
of just
suspicion
saying
that
it
she's
over and
pregnant,
over
but she
again.
didn't take a test
Find out
yet.
if you're pregnant.
It is the very accurate, very true intellectual theory that if you don't know, it does not exist. She
Right.
says, once I
Not a
find out
fact.
for sure that I'm pregnant, I'm not drinking. I am off of it for 9 months. But she's also very upset
You're
that her
already
viewers
pregnant at
care
that
about her
point.
drinking alcohol and potentially being pregnant. She says,
I'm not going to answer yes or no if I'm pregnant. That's not what I'm going to do. You're going to have to wait. Y'all are not anybody important to me. So for me to just sit here and say, no, I'm not
Giving her
pregnant.
money
Yes, I'm
and stuff
pregnant.
on TikTok.
Y'all are not important to me. I don't
Not
even know you.
important.
very quickly, the newfound pregnancy becomes Ashley's entire personality. She streams, y'all, I have never
Rubbing
been
her
so scared to
belly.
bring a
I'm
baby into this
pregnant.
world. Because when I brought them to, I was with their dad. Me and their dad were married each time. They were planned. This one was planned too, but I'm not with Jesse no more, and I'm scared.
Planned.
I'm
I don't think
scared.
so.
Wait, is she pregnant or
We don't know.
she's just like
We don't
crying
know.
about it?
She
Yeah.
don't know.
In
Nobody
another
knows.
live stream, though, she
Probably
complains.
Today, my back has been killing the fuck out of me. Like, I told Lisa, I said, girl, I feel like I'm about to start my period. And I just got off my period.
And everyone's like, how would you just get off your period if you're potentially pregnant?
Yeah, this is weird.
Eventually, the story becomes too ridiculous to sell. I mean, at some point, even the trees in your backyard are going to start putting 2 and 2 together, like none of this is making any sense. And ultimately, she addresses the pregnancy situation by saying, were you ever pregnant? Yes, unfortunately, I was. But
Yes,
the stress
unfortunately,
gets to
but
you. So unfortunately, I was. And
Planned.
I was very sad, but I was happy at the same time. Hinting at the fact that she suffered from a miscarriage from the stress. The comments
Wow.
read, she reminds me of one of those high school girls that would say that they're pregnant for attention and then end
That's
up, quote,
exactly
losing
it.
the
She
baby.
just wants attention.
But later on, Jesse explains in a live stream that Ashley terminated the pregnancy, or at least that's what he thought.
More attention.
That she did not suffer from a
terminated
miscarriage.
pregnancy.
To which Ashley responds on live,
Nobody was supposed to know that I had an abortion. And he literally just told everybody that I had an abortion.
But it was planned.
But I
But she had an abortion.
because I
Had an
didn't want to have
abortion.
his
It was
baby.
planned. What the heck? But she doesn't make sense.
Hey, Daddy.
So this makes sense.
I
but she doesn't make
absolutely
sense.
believe in my freedom of choice as a woman, but I think the difference between having it be a choice versus having a miscarriage are completely separate things, especially in this situation. She originally claimed that she lost her baby due to stress, and that is not a choice. Netizens were obviously sympathizing with her after
Right.
that, and even
Happened
had
to many
she
people.
said, I made the choice to do this because I don't think I'm going to be a fit parent to a newborn right now.
I agree.
I mean, I
You're
guess
not
it
gonna be
depends on
a good
everybody's
parent.
beliefs, but I think that's perfectly normal. But netizens were obviously sympathizing with her, donating so much more to her because
Oh my
they thought that she had
goodness.
suffered this
That's why
very
she's
traumatic
doing it,
thing
to
that
get
a
money.
lot of netizens can relate to. But it was a lie. In another clip, she says,
He's just mad because I aborted our baby. I never wanted to have his kid anyways. I'm literally glad I
Wow.
got rid of our baby. I didn't want nothing from him.
what makes this even
Wow.
worse is the
But it's
fact that
planned.
in a separate live stream, this is when she was telling the whole world and everybody's mother that she might be pregnant. She says, if I'm pregnant, I'm keeping the baby. I already told my kids. I told them, there's a possibility. So she's getting her minor children emotionally and
Invested
potentially just
for
mentally
sibling.
involved in this. With Jesse's relationship with Ash Trevino, that's where she really starts gaining a lot of TikTok fame. But people find out this is not her first relationship with an inmate. In fact, there was a previous one
A
that she
trend with
documented heavily
inmates.
through Instagram by the name of Isaiah Gonzalez. This
Oh
was
my
her
goodness.
previous husband that was in prison. She'd introduced her children to them. She had brought her 2 very young daughters. At this point, the eldest was about 10 years old when she brings them to prison to meet this prisoner that she
Stranger.
has now
Complete
decided to marry.
stranger.
How do we know about this?
She has documented it all over Instagram and then slowly starts talking about it on live. So through her Instagram, we find out that she's posting pictures of the girls visiting Isaiah Gonzalez. And she writes, "We had a great visit today and so blessed that both of our girls were able to go see daddy. This is the part that is so sick and
Wow.
twisted. This is not the girl's biological father." But she almost convinces them, or maybe she's
Like she's
telling them to
playing
call him
house
daddy,
in
or
her own sick,
convincing them that
twisted
this is
way.
their new daddy. I don't know. She writes, "You can see the happiness on his face. Our first family picture, only one more glass visit until he gets to hug us all." Which I'm not sure you should be taking your
Oh,
children
he
to
was
prison to
behind
hug
the
random
glass.
inmates.
I didn't
But she
realize
even
that.
introduces Isaiah as
He was
the
behind the glass and they
youngest
took a
daddy
picture.
to the world. She keeps doing this. She's saying, like, this is E's daddy. But he's not.
That
He's
is
not
funny.
biologically her dad. He's not her dad anyway.
Sad and funny.
She posts more pictures of them meeting in prison. They're holding up hand hearts. She's
Look at that. He's
hashtagging it
behind
Going Gonzalez
behind the
because she's
glass.
trying to marry him and his last name is Gonzalez. And like, ma'am, this is not a reality
Wow.
show. She'll hashtag love on lockdown. My heart is in Iowa Park, which is where his prison is located. But should her heart not be at home with her own 2 children? She posts another one where Isaiah is holding E, her youngest daughter,
Still
in
in
his
prison,
arms,
holding
physically,
her
during
child.
visitation. She captions it, "Today we had the best visit with my husband and her daddy. It's always hard leaving him behind." Again, this is not E's
That guy actually
biological
looks
father,
genuinely
let alone
happy.
her daddy.
but
Her dad.
I don't
This
know.
is
This
just some random
situation's
inmate.
weird.
Love all the time we get with him, and his smile says it all. Just a daddy and his baby girl. It's sad when she runs back for one more hug before we leave, but their bond is unbreakable. I do want to preface this by saying I think with the way America likes to incarcerate people for just pretty much everything, there are people in prison for possessing weed. There are people in
Yeah.
jail for allegedly being involved in an incident involving the United Healthcare CEO. There are a lot of reasons that people are incarcerated that a lot of people might not necessarily think they should be incarcerated for. I think that for a lot of inmates, having a strong support system outside of prison waiting for them when they get out, it does help rehabilitate them. Again, I'm talking for drug possession charges, things of that nature, health insurance fraud related charges involving massive healthcare companies, things of that nature. I
Right.
think it's important for these people to have support, and I have a lot of respect for their partners and families that give them that while they're still being part of society and having to deal with the stigma
And
of
go
having a
back
loved
into
one in
society.
prison. However, finding inmates to date because you like the idea of being a prison wife is beyond my level of
Right.
comprehension.
You didn't know this person
Ashley
before.
posts on Instagram, August of 2019. She posts 2 pictures captioning, "Life had us in different paths, but just know he makes me happy and he asked me to marry him and I said yes. I am future
How do
Mrs.
you meet
Gonzalez."
an inmate
She
to
goes on
date?
this whole rant. For those of y'all that know, y'all know, LOL. And for those of who don't know, now y'all do. People are going to judge us, but like we say, screw what y'all think. I have been here for him and plan to continue that throughout his entire journey that God has given us. Yes, he is away from me, but these years will go by so fast and I can't wait to become Mrs. Gonzalez. If y'all don't like us being together, then feel free to delete me, but he wanted me to let everybody know that he is mine and I am his. And for those of y'all that don't know, he asked me to marry him and got the blessings we needed to move forward with that. By the way, don't let those hate letters think it's going to stop us.
That's
Soon
a weird
being
post.
a prison wife becomes her whole DNA profile.
That's just a whole
She
run-on
posts,
sentence,
"I'm a
too.
prison wife. My relationship is based on letters, time-restricted phone calls and visits that are few and far between. I'm judged for staying with a man that I could never imagine leaving. I go to bed alone every night and hold it down on the outside while he comes home. I never know when he'll be involved in a riot or moved far away from me. Despite all of this, he is worth the wait."
So do we know what was his?
We're about to get
Okay,
there,
okay.
yeah.
That
She
doesn't
shows
sound
off
good.
sending 120 pictures, which I can only imagine they're X-rated pictures. She likes to say things like, "Being a prison wife is expensive," and I'm realizing that now because not only do I have my own bills, I still help him. He doesn't ask me for money though. It's just one thing that if I do, it's because I want to. I feel like it's my responsibility as a prison wife. Which, side note,
As a
a lot
prison
of
wife.
inmates have stated that when it
Hashtag
comes to
prison
picking a
wife.
pen pal, if they have a choice, they do not go for the girls that are aesthetically conventionally the most attractive. They will go for the ones that they believe are the most desperate, the one that is craving a
We're still
compliment, dying for
on the
attention,
side
because
calling
that is who
her
is going to put money in
not
their
pretty.
commissary. It's like a job. You want minimum effort, maximum financial reward. They sit there, write letters. It takes time, but the inmates have time and they get taken care of through financial ways.
I don't think Ash Treviro will agree with this sentiment.
Yeah, she might think that she is the love of their
I'm
life,
so
the apple to
beautiful.
their eyes.
He only loves
They're all
me
peas
for
in a
me.
pod. And if you send pictures, like Ash Trevino has sent 120 plus pictures in one go to be exact, they will 99% of the time pass around those pictures. It is said that they have no
ew.
respect for any of these. I
Didn't
mean,
even think
maybe
about
if
that.
maybe an inmate was with their partner before going to jail, they perhaps don't want to share those pictures, but they will pass around pictures.
Wow.
Having an amazing product or service
Oh, we've
is a
skipped the ad.
massive part.
This ad, no ad. Do, 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 do. There. I made it perfect.
But Ashley is in love. She posts wedding pictures with Isaiah Gonzalez, which
Wedding
are just pictures by herself, holding his picture
Look at
because he's
that.
incarcerated. They're not going to let him
Look
out
at
and
that
take
wedding
furlough
photo.
to take
Just
wedding
alone
pics.
on a road.
So it's just her in the middle of the road, a literal road, wearing a black dress and a white
That is the
flower
saddest
crown,
photo.
writing, "There is going to be a long road ahead of us in this journey, but with God, we will get through it. Right here in these pics, I'm walking that road
God
alone."
has blessed our wedding.
Hence why she's on the road. And to give her some credit, the road is empty. "I'm walking that road alone, but even though he wasn't there physically, he's still here with me in this pic. This
In
life isn't for
spirit,
everyone,
he's
but it
here.
is for me. Hashtag Mrs. Gonzalez. Hashtag my life is behind those walls." This is where things start to
Hashtag prison
escalate.
wife.
On a live stream, Ashley is telling the story of how she first met Isaiah, because people start bringing it up. They're like, okay, so Jesse was not your first prison boyfriend, your first inmate boyfriend. So who
This
is
is a thing
Isaiah that
for
we
you.
found on your Instagram? And she says, well, everyone's wondering why this has happened. Oh, by the way, it is speculated that for all of her prison boyfriends, she's met some of them through Write a Prisoner website, where
Write
you
a
can see
Prisoner.
pictures of
This is where
prisoners
you
and
find
decide
them.
if you want to be their pen pal or not.
Ooh.
But those who know how the prison system works, they speculate that she is pretty well known in certain prisons, that she will talk to
Wow.
an inmate, they will
She's known
recommend
in
her to
prison.
other fellow inmates. They'll say, hey, talk to this girl because she's gonna put some money in your commissary.
Oh my goodness.
And she, for the lack of better phrasing, gets passed around, as in her number and contact information gets passed around to other inmates.
Wouldn't you
But with
be,
Isaiah, she
like,
says, I actually knew
skeptical
him
if that
before he
happened?
went to prison.
Random
She
letter
says,
from an inmate.
my prison life started in 2019. I reconnected with an old childhood friend. Okay. She says, okay, a lot. She also says, just kidding a lot, when she's definitely not just kidding.
So, my prison life started in 2019. I reconnected with an old childhood friend, okay? Yes, I am 6 years older than this man. He is still currently serving time in TDC.
Friend.
So we
But 6 years. I guess
reconnected
it
back in
means
March
school.
of 2019. We wrote snail mail letters up until August 2019. Then I set the phone up for this man. On our first phone call, he asked me to marry him. I liked him, so I said yes, and I've known him for years.
So
After
they know
10
each
years of
other.
not seeing each other, he puts me on his visitation list. I come to go visit him. I drive almost 3 hours, and then we start the marriage process. We get married in November of 2019. But mind you, I was visiting this man every weekend up until 2020. Then COVID hits, and they shut visits down completely in March.
I knew him since since he was 11. I knew him since he was 11 and I was like 15 or 16, maybe younger, because I was like 15. So he had to have been like 9 when I first met him. They used to go to our church.
Met at church.
I remember telling his mom, because I always thought he was a cute little boy, but I was older and I was already dating the kid's dad, so I couldn't be with him,
Wait, she said I was dating the kid's dad?
Yeah, they were high school sweethearts. So she was dating someone age appropriate, because she's 15. He was like 15, I think. He was around the same age as her. And she was
But
interested
she
in a
always
9-year-old
liked this
boy.
kid.
Yeah, which is very alarming.
Wait, I'm so sorry. What does dad? Someone's dad mean?
The kid's dad. So
Yeah,
she
the
has 2
kid's dad.
daughters. Their biological father is her
Oh.
high school sweetheart.
Got it.
That she started dating when she was 15.
Ah.
But she's saying, when I was 15, I was dating the kid's father, You know, my kid's father, not
So I couldn't
his
go
dad,
after this
you know,
9-year-old.
but he was 9 and I couldn't be with him, you know? And she says, once I got married, you know, I used to always tell his mom. She used to tell Isaiah's mom, you know, because he grew up quick. I would tell his mom, like, I'm going to be your daughter-in-law one day. I'm going to be your daughter-in-law one day. And she's like, no, you're not. My son is too young for you. And then in 2019, I reconnected with her son.
Oh my goodness.
In prison.
Yeah.
Can you imagine the
Which
mom
is
finds out
incredibly
they get
creepy,
married
but she
later
clarifies,
on?
okay,
Oh, that
Isaiah was a
creepy
minor when we
girl.
first met, but I didn't date him when he was a minor. I'm not sure how she thought that sentence would help her case. Nevertheless, she gets 3 tattoos of Isaiah on her. One of their wedding date on her finger, Isaiah on one wrist, Gonzalez on the other wrist, and these tattoos are huge. It would be more inconspicuous for her to wear 5 Apple Watches on one hand. It's that aggressively noticeable.
Like on top or bottom?
On top, and it's just like
So
massive
aggressive.
cursive. The whole wrist. And within 5 months, she announces her divorce. But one thing that has always gotten to people is that Ashley explains that Isaiah went into prison at 15 and he won't be eligible for parole until 2032. And if he doesn't get parole, he's not going to be released until 2055. So people are like,
Wow.
that's a very long time for a
Yeah.
15-year-old to get sentenced. 40 years for a 15-year-old to get
Oh,
sentenced.
we haven't found out the
Whatever he
crime
did
yet.
must be really bad because he was
Yes.
15.
What did he do?
So they start looking into his criminal history. 1 count of aggravated robbery, 1 count arson, and 1 count of murder. Sentenced to 45 years in prison. When Isaiah
Yep,
was 15 years old, he was
that'll get you
involved in a
long-term.
very, very well, meticulously planned robbery that ends in a man's murder. His friend Ruben was working at an Exxon gas station when Muhammad, his boss, decides he's going to go make a night bank deposit. He's going to take cash from the gas station and deposit it at the bank. Ruben texts his friends, 2 other people and Isaiah, so 3 people. They're in a car waiting for Muhammad. They catch him on the
planned
road
this.
and they stop him. They rob him of all his cash. They know exactly which route he takes, which bank he was going to, how much he has. This is all a very well thought out plan, meticulously done. They pull up to stop him and one of the friends ends up shooting him. They kill him.
Wow.
They drag his body into the woods. They set Muhammad's car on fire and they leave. Eric is the one who fired the shots. He takes $4,000. Isaiah takes home $1,000 from this robbery. And they promptly spend it on whilst bragging to everybody about killing Muhammad. Muhammad has a wife and 7 kids.
Not even that much
He
money.
has 6 daughters and a son. But sure,
He had
I
7
guess that's
kids.
hilarious. How is that
7
hilarious?
kids and he's dead.
Why would it be hilarious?
They're laughing to everyone they know. They just think it's so funny.
That's
He
creepy.
was sentenced to 45 years in prison in 2011. Sure, he was 15, but I mean, we all knew better at 15. This is not a situation where I don't think
I didn't
anyone
wanna
can
murder people
confidently
at
say
15.
he was so young. He didn't know what he was doing.
Booking.com has all
You don't want
kinds
to
of
hear
stays.
this. You don't want to hear this. I skip once it comes here. This is a long one. Oh my goodness. Oh, it's gonna do 2. So many advertisements. Come on now. There we go.
Unless you're Ashley Trevino. But Ashley is posting on Instagram a word vomit collage. Second look Saturday. Meet Isaiah. He was given a 45-year sentence at 16 years old. Over the past 10 years, he earned his GED, OSHA, Electrical Level 1, Construction
Got nothing
Craft
else to
Skills,
do there. Might as
Construction
well get
Site
some
Safety
education.
Corps, all level certifications. In that period, he has also gotten married and become a wonderful stepdad to 2 beautiful daughters. He loves spending every weekend with his family during visitation at the All Red unit. He is involved in working as a supply clerk. Isaiah is also a talented artist who wants to continue his craft by opening up his own business once he returns to the free world. Isaiah plans on
This is
pursuing
like a letter
additional
of
collegiate
recommendation.
degrees. Isaiah believes that God will bring him home sooner than his release date. Isaiah is ready for the day when he can be given a second look. She posts, "So blessed my husband was chosen to be the second look person today. Let's pray we can bring him home soon. I will continue to do what's needed for him as a wife and will always be his voice. Love my husband so much. Hashtag let's bring him home. Hashtag proud prison wife. Hashtag my husband's biggest
Proud
supporter."
prison wife.
He's a killer.
It's a hashtag.
The worst part is Ashley is very proud of all of this. She TikTok live battles with someone talking about her inmate hopping ways, and the other creator says, "That is a lot. How many inmates have you been with? Like 26, you said?" It's like 30 now.
Probably 26 in the last 5 years.
That's a lot of
That is a
people.
lot.
And she's nodding and smiling like it's
Why would you
something
smile?
that everyone should do. And they ask her, let me ask you a question. Why do you prefer inmates? I prefer inmates because I feel like if you're gonna get hurt, it's better to get hurt while they're incarcerated than out here in the
What?
free world. Because like I just said earlier, my
She's
ex
expecting
Jesse,
to
when
get
he actually
dumped.
left and we broke up, that one hurt. I still feel hurt to this day. She likes the fact that they have no options.
Yeah.
In another creator
So
battle,
sad.
she straight up asks the other creator, you haven't heard Ashley the inmate hopper? I actually married someone who was incarcerated in 2019. We actually knew each other from out here though, and he's actually younger than me. So we reconnected. I became his prison wife, and that's where I met a lot of people that I talk to still. And it just
You
went
know,
from there. When we separated, I went with another
tell
one,
it's
and it just
not
went
love
on.
when
Okay, let me ask
they
you,
talk about
have you ever
everything else
been with somebody
besides
that's not incarcerated?
love.
Besides
Why
the
you
father
like
to your
them.
children, which they're broken up, clearly. And she's shaking her head no. It just doesn't pan out for you, or you just don't want it if they're not inmates. So my actual last relationship out here in the free world was in 2018, and we lived together and everything. And then I started getting inmates, and I've had like guys here and there in between, but I don't know. To say my last relationship out here in the free world is already such a wild
Yeah,
sentence
that's
to
weird.
utter. She will be on the phone with inmates during her live streams, just spewing words out of her mouth.
Maybe she's
You're
just
my
doing it for
30th
money and
inmate.
TikTok.
Did I not tell you that? You really are. I swear. I've been with 30 inmates. Now I'm in like a prison sister wife relationship.
Prison
You're my
sister,
30th
what?
inmate. Did I not tell you that? I'm not with no one, just you, but I've already married two. You're stupid. I mean, now I'm in a prison sister wife relationship.
Because I guess
That's weird.
the other prisoner she's talking to has a wife.
What? She will call them? The conversation is like brief, I'm assuming? Because
No,
they can't talk all day long, right?
No, but sometimes it's not brief, and it's not like 5 minutes. It's like 10, 15, sometimes more. And this is highly not allowed by
This
most
is
prison
weird.
facility standards. You cannot be live streaming a prisoner's calls like that. You have to get proper permission.
Right.
And
But
she's just doing
streaming.
it.
Oh.
Yeah. She's saying this while her daughters are in the house, the doors are wide open, and their friends are over, and likely they're watching her on her live stream.
Wow.
Sometimes if the prisoners don't do as she says, she'll get very aggressive with them.
It's okay,
Do
because
it.
I got other options. I'm going to tell Lexi to send me somebody else anyways. You were the wrong option. You ain't nothing. Remember, you're incarcerated.
That's crazy. Who's Lexi?
Wow.
It's a friend that knows a lot of inmates. She says that she will be open and fine with dating an inmate that has charges of SA on a child. That's fine for her.
Wow.
She also
She says she will date
And she has
a
kids. And,
Yeah.
PEDO.
Oh my goodness.
yeah, a PDF file, I guess is how everyone is referencing it.
Wow.
She has this moment where she talks about how murder charges and SA charges are not that crazy because every single person she's been with has had those charges. And that doesn't mean that
She
they
only
happened.
dates murderers?
She asks her viewers, how do you know? Were you there?
Maybe
Were
it's a
you
power
there?
trip.
Every
She likes
single
being in
person I've
control
been
of
with has had
murderers,
those charges.
you know?
Were you there? We are now entering the belly of the
way
beast.
she talks to him.
So let's go through and recap all of her relationships. Her very first relationship, or her very first prominent relationship, she marries her high school sweetheart. She has 2 children with him, the 2 daughters that are now 15 and 13. They end up divorcing when their kids are 6 and 3 years old. This is in 2015. They've been together for about a decade, and suddenly Ashley is posting onto Instagram. OMG, found this pic from prom of 2006. My high school sweetheart, but now soon to be ex-husband. I will always care about him, and he don't even know that. Hashtag prom 06. Hashtag my junior year, his senior year. Hashtag I know, get out of my feelings. Hashtag he done moved on. Which implies
Why would you post that?
that perhaps they're getting a divorce, and that perhaps hashtag he done moved on is oddly specific and pretty indicative that maybe he cheated on her or left her or didn't want anything to do with her anymore. Even later when the divorce is finalized, she posts a pouty selfie writing, "This was my last pic of me being his, insert last name. LOL, my divorce was finally finalized after 9 years of marriage and 2 years of separation. Hashtag divorce final. Hashtag goodbye. Hashtag hello Garcia." I guess her original maiden name. Hashtag bittersweet moment.
She just wants attention.
But the reason that